What's up? What's up? Um, it's 2019. We're in a brand new year. It's kind of hard to believe that we're just about done with this month already. I know a lot of us, we do the New Year's resolutions where we're gonna, do this different. We're gonna be better at this. We're gonna be better at that. And honestly, I I just want to hear it. This is geared towards me. If it fits and kind of plays a role in your life, then so be it. But in order to honestly move on from what we did the year before, we actually have to accept what took place previously. And so my thing is this whole thing behind this is know me before you know me. Um, uh, who I am right now, that's who I've always been. A little bit wiser, I believe, in years time. But before I got to the point to where I am now, I lived a life that no, I wasn't embarrassed by, but I was definitely afraid of. Grew up single mom. My mom had 6 kids. Six, five, however you want to say it. Gave birth to 6 kids. When I was younger, we moved from Pomona Beach, California to Little Rock, Arkansas by way of Greyhound. It was me, my mom, and my oldest sister, Marquita, aka Pumpkin. Big shout out to you, sis. Love you. Hope all is going well. But when we got to Little Rock, we were homeless for almost 3 years, living on the streets in boxes. I remember taking cardboard and rolling it up to make a pillow to be able to lay my head down at nighttime to keep the water from running in. I remember my mom dumpster diving, jumping into dumpsters to get leftover donuts that were left out to be able to feed us. And so growing up in between that time frame, I remember, my mom doing things that, no, I'm not proud of, and I know she wasn't proud of, but she did it to make sure that, we ate and we were taken care of. And so for 3 years, on the streets of Little Rock, Arkansas, before we got into a place called Dorcas House, we roughed it out. I don't, regret doing that. I'm not mad at my mom for that or anything, and a lot of times, people say, well, I blame my mom, for not having a dad. No, I thank my mom for him not being around, because it's allowed me to become the man who I am today. And so, it got to a point to where, my mom knew that she couldn't really take care of, me and my sisters the way that she needed to, so she allowed me to go and live with somebody else. A lot of people kind of had that notion that my mom gave me away. That's one thing my mom never did. She never gave me away. She provided a way for me to be able to go in and live a life that she knew that she couldn't provide for me. And so when I lost my mom 2 years ago, that was the hardest thing that I think I ever done, because I never got to, truly say, hey mom, I'm sorry for everything that you went through, that I couldn't do more or anything like that. And so, but once that took place, I lived a life that, it was kind of overwhelming to me. I felt like I had everything, with where I was at, with what I was doing, and the life that I had to live before, where it was 5 to 6 of us, my siblings and the other family that we lived with, Chris, Jesse, Amber, Justin, Derek. Much love to you guys as well. There was, like I said, there was 5 to 6 of us in one bedroom. So it was taking turns who gets the bed this night. Until I was able to go and live with this other family, I never really truly had a bed. So I was sleeping on cots. Day in and day out, I remember where we would, go and find old cots that, one of the stores in Little Rock on Division, or North Little Rock on Division Street, where I grew up at, where they threw stuff out. So we went and grabbed them, we stacked them up, and, we made beds. And so that's what we had to do. I'm talking, a 8, 9, 10-year-old going to the grocery store, going to the laundromat with 2 or 3 grocery shop baskets full of dirty clothes. And that was the thing that we had to do. And so so I don't regret it. I don't feel bad about it. I was afraid because I didn't know whether or not I was gonna make it the next day. I didn't know whether or not there was gonna be a meal to eat that next day. I didn't know how long I was gonna have to sleep on a box or inside of a box. So when this new life was presented to me, and I started going to church, and I started getting this, and I started getting that, it was one of those things I truly didn't realize that I had completely changed who I was and forgot about the life that I had lived before, because this life was so good. But it was one of those things. You never miss a good thing until it's gone, and so it's one of those things. I realized after time had passed, many years had passed, that secondary life that I was, given, that secondary opportunity that I was given, it wasn't, really for the better of me. It was, for the better of, where I was at, and, who I was with. I've thought long and hard on, what to do and what not to do, but, I truly was having to live a life and, become somebody who I know I wasn't. And down the line, it was, I really won't go into details here because there's much more to come, but down the line, it was, look what was done for him. Look what was done, to get him. And nothing, nothing was... It shouldn't have been like that. And so let me just rephrase that and go back to that point. And so a lot of people, who know me now, they've heard stories from other people of, what I've done or who I am or what type of person I am. And that's just from, a third party source, So my hashtag is know me before you know me. There are a lot of things out there or that people say that, oh, he's this, he's that. Frankly, it doesn't matter. I could care less. I just want you to know that I don't care, whoever it may be. One person who I am, I'm always gonna be me. I've always been Teddy. To this day now, my biggest accomplishment and my biggest goal is making sure that I can provide for my children the way that I wish that I would have been provided for. So it's just one of those things, never be too quick to judge a person. And so, I try to carry myself, and I do so much more. And I bust my tail, working full-time, going to school full-time, being a full-time parent, doing whatever I have to do to provide for my children, because that's who I am, and that's what I do. And so, and that's what any man should do. And so my thing is, we can have all these facades about who we are. We can have all these, facades about what we want to be. But, at the end of the day, unless you truly accept who you are, none of that truly even really matters. And so don't let what somebody else has said about you, what somebody has done to you, affect who you are going to become and who you are right now. And so I'm the same me that I was 10 to 15 years ago. Like I said, I'm just a little bit more wiser. When I was younger, I did things that, teenagers do. But, what teenager doesn't, So, but there are a ton of things that, float around about people, here and there that, they may feel like, listen, I love it for somebody, to just up and float and say, oh, he did this. Keep that going, because it does not affect me. Only thing that's going to affect me now is, trying to come from my children. And so, but I have 3 beautiful children. Keegan, Cadence, Mariah, I love you to death. And so, when I branched out on my own, it seems like I've been on my own with my children on my side of the family. The adoption of my daughter, I was the only one on my side of the family that was there. My youngest daughter is 3. I've been the only one there on my side of the family for every one of her birthdays. My son is 4. I'm the only one on my side of the family that has ever been there. Anybody that calls me family, I'm the only one that's been there. No, I'm not throwing slick, subtle hints. I'm just being upfront, because that's what it is. And so, always know somebody before you sit there and try to know somebody. And so, by that I mean KNOW me before you NO me. And so, you're never gonna get to know the real person unless you sit down and talk and ask them questions. So never just go off of what you hear from somebody else. And so this is just saying, this is just a snippet of what I want to do, what's about to take place. 2019, it's here. We can't stop it. So let's just make the best of it. But my thing is, the life that I live now, that's not the life that I've always lived. Like I said, I was that young man who was homeless, sleeping in boxes, on top of boxes, dumpster diving, eating donuts out of the dumpster. I watched my mom prostitute. I watched my mom do so many things. And at the end of the day, whenever she passed away, I had so much animosity in my heart that I still blame myself, to this day for her loss. But at the exact same time, there was so much that took place in between that time that I was drawn here and I was drawn there. So I was being pulled in two different directions. And so it took me losing my mom to realize, young man, you got to be you no matter what. You got to give thanks and give praise to God for being able to just even stand up and just be here today. So be humble in the midst of God and just thank God every day that you are able to be alive through all the circumstances and obstacles that you've been faced with. And so and one of the biggest obstacles outside of being homeless, I was 6 years old, 7 years old, and in a house fire. Almost lost my life, had to be thrown out of a window. Me and Chris sitting there playing with our Tonka toys, and door was hot, couldn't get out that way. There was only one window, so we had to break the window from the outside. My mom did, and so my mom's my hero. So I remember being thrown out that window. Chris threw me out that window, saved my life. So I am a blessing, and I thank God every day. I thank Chris for being there, and I thank my mom for being on the other side to be able to catch me. And so my sister, and every obstacle and circumstance that you've been through, I love you. So much more to come, and we'll get into that on the next segment of this. But this is hashtag Know Me Before You Know Me. It's a series, and I want to keep it going. And so my thing is, love God, love yourself, and don't worry about what anybody else is saying or doing against you or about you, because there's only one true judgment, and that's the judgment of God. And so to my program, Thug's Mansion, we're about to take off. Romans 2. Just know it. We about to take off. Every kid, every child, we're all welcome. So I tell people all the time, the work that I do and the things that I do, to help me get to where I am. My passion is working with young people, because I not only see you and where I want you to be, but I see myself in you. It's not that I went to school and sat in front of a professor to learn how to deal with you. I've been in your shoes. I've walked a mile, probably 2 miles in your shoes. And so, trust me, what's going on, God knows. But it's going to be up to you whether or not, you allow God to just continue to come into your life and help you make it through that. Because I definitely allowed him to come into my life, because without him, I wouldn't be sitting here today. So as we take it, it's me. Know me before you know me. This series is going to continue to keep coming. Stay faithful, stay true, stay humble, stay blessed, and stay on your feet. And always, always remember, put God first. PHGF. That's it. Hashtag. I'm out.